ever felt totally stuck? Like you know there's a way out, but your mind has just locked itself in a prison, and you literally have zero energy to even look for the key?
But what if I told you it's not about being lazy or lacking willpower, but actually a predictable scientific trap your brain falls into? If you want to hack your brain and find the exact way out of this mental prison, then stick around till the end.
Welcome back to Sunny's English Bites, the podcast that helps you level up both your mindset and your English skills. I'm your host, Sunny.
And I'm Alex. Hey everyone, all you Sunnies out there listening today, so good to have you. Glad you're here with us.
Today, we're diving deep into a super powerful psychological concept called learned helplessness. It's that heavy, suffocating feeling you get when you start believing that no matter what you do, absolutely nothing will ever change. And then eventually, you just give up even trying.
Oh my gosh, for real. I've definitely been there. Like, you know there's a solution, but your body just feels like lead, and you literally can't lift a finger. Sometimes you just want to give up everything and literally just roll around in bed all day, you know?
Alex, that's exactly the trap. You just hit on such a crucial point that this isn't a willpower issue, but actually a learned response by your brain, which is wild, right? So let's dive into that in Chapter 1. Chapter 1, The Invisible Prison. This invisible prison is built from past experiences where we felt powerless. Think about it. When you keep failing job interviews, or you're stuck in a toxic relationship, or you study super hard but your grades never improve, our brain just kind of shuts down and jumps to a super dangerous conclusion. Like, I can't do anything about this.
Exactly. It's like our brain just cuts power to protect itself from more disappointment and pain.
Spot on. Once that negative voice takes over, we stop even trying to find an exit, even if the door is literally wide open right in front of us. It's actually kind of chilling. But you're going to be even more mind-blown when you hear how this whole phenomenon was discovered. It all started with a super famous and honestly pretty controversial experiment back in the 1960s.
Ooh, I love a good science story. I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Chapter 2. The Shocking Science. The person who first discovered this was Dr. Martin Seligman. He's widely known now as the father of positive psychology. Back in 1967, at the University of Pennsylvania, he conducted this historic experiment. Dr. Seligman divided dogs into 3 groups. The first group learned they could stop a mild electric shock by pressing a lever with their nose. But the second group, no matter what they did, they couldn't escape the shocks at all. And the third group got no shocks whatsoever.
Okay, so the second group basically learned that their actions meant nothing. That's awful. So what happened next?
The truly shocking part happens right after that. Seligman moved all the dogs to a new box. It was a shuttle box where they could easily escape the shock by just hopping over a super low barrier. The dogs from the first and third groups immediately jumped over that barrier as soon as the shock started.
Let me guess. The second group didn't jump, right?
You got it. Even when the shocks hit, they didn't even try to escape. They just lay down on the floor, whimpering, and accepted the pain. They had literally learned that nothing they did mattered. So they just gave up.
That's actually heartbreaking, that story. Like their past experiences had blinded them, and they couldn't even see that the barrier was low enough to just jump over.
And that's why learned helplessness is so terrifying. It applies to us humans in exactly the same way. When we believe our actions have no effect, we just stop acting.
Whoa. It makes me wonder if I've been treating myself like one of those second group dogs without even realizing it. But Seligman wouldn't just leave us in this depressing reality, right? There has to be a way out.
You are spot on. Seligman didn't stop there. He actually found a game-changing solution. Chapter 3. Hacking Your Brain's Code. Seligman later went on to conduct research with people, and he published his findings in his super famous book, Learned Optimism. He found that the difference between people who give up easily and those who bounce back actually comes down to one secret weapon: their explanatory style.
Explanatory style, huh? That sounds super interesting. What exactly does that mean?
Basically, it's about how you explain failure to yourself. People who are feeling totally helpless usually see failure as something personal, universal, and permanent.
Could you hit us with an example to make that a little easier to get?
Absolutely. So let's say you totally bombed a math test. Their inner voice is going to be like this: I'm just stupid. That's personal. I mess up everything. That's universal. And this is never going to get better. That's permanent.
Okay, so literally one single screw up can send you into an identity crisis.
Exactly. But here's the thing: super resilient people have a totally different vibe. They see failure as external, specific, and temporary. They're thinking like this test was just super tough this time. External. I just wasn't prepped enough for this specific topic. Specific. And next time I'll try a different strategy. Temporary.
Whoa, so the key to beating helplessness is literally changing the narrative you tell yourself. This totally reminds me of Dr. Carol Dweck's famous book, Mindset. She talks about having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset, right?
You hit the nail on the head, Alex. Believing your abilities can totally grow and change, that's the ultimate antidote to helplessness. And one of the most powerful ways to start shifting that inner narrative is actually by changing the words we use every single day.
I love that. So that leads us perfectly into everyone's fave segment,
English bites.
English Bites.
Today we've got 5 awesome English expressions that are going to help you spot that trap of learned helplessness, pull yourself out of a slump, and give you the courage to start fresh. Let's dive into the first one. Our first one is, I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall. Literally, it means you're like running into a wall. This is the perfect phrase for that first step of just admitting things are totally stuck right now. You can't fix a problem until you own it.
Oh, I use this one all the time. For example, I've been studying for this test for months and my scores just aren't going up. I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall. So it means you've hit an obstacle that feels impossible to get past.
Exactly. Let's jump to the second one. It's there is no point in trying, meaning what's the use? It's pointless. Sunny's heads up on this one. This is literally the core voice of learned helplessness. When you feel like giving up, try saying this out loud and then objectively look at your situation. The goal is to catch yourself and be like, oh snap, I'm falling into that learned helplessness trap right now.
So if I bomb an interview and immediately think there is no point in trying anymore, I should literally stop myself and be like, hold up, that's just helplessness talking.
Exactly. All right, third expression. I am stuck in a rut. This means you're in a boring routine or just doing the same old thing. It's a good way to admit you're in a stagnant period. But a rut is just a deep groove left by wheels. You can totally climb out of it.
Since I started working from home, I've been doing the exact same thing every single day. I am really stuck in a rut. You could totally say that.
Perfect example. Now, our fourth expression is a total game changer. It's not the end of the world, meaning it's not like the world is actually ending. This phrase helps you stop seeing failure as permanent and totally reframe the situation as just a temporary setback.
This expression really hits home for me. Instead of thinking my career is over after bombing a presentation, you're like, okay, I messed up, but it is not the end of the world. I can do better next time.
Yes, just remembering that failure isn't permanent can give you the power to get back up. And finally, our last expression, I can turn this around. It means you can totally flip the script on a situation. This is all about taking back control. It's that mindset that you can flip the script, starting with even tiny successes.
That's such a powerful mindset shift. Even if you spent all day procrastinating, you could be like, okay, I'm going to read just one page of this book right now and turn this situation around. I can turn this around to yourself.
That's it. Helplessness doesn't just disappear like flipping a switch. You gotta practice finding the super tiny things you actually have control over. Even tiny achievements like making your bed or just drinking a glass of water will start to rewire your brain.
After hearing all this, next time I hit a slump, I'm definitely going to check my explanatory style instead of just blindly blaming myself.
I hope our Sunnies out there start using these expressions to build up those strong mental muscles. All right, let's quickly recap the main takeaways from today. Learned helplessness is a mental state where past failures make you give up on future possibilities too.
And to beat it, you gotta change the way you explain situations to yourself. Don't write off failure as personal, permanent, and universal. It's about seeing it for what it is, just a temporary situation that's outside of your control.
All right, Summies, here is your challenge for the week. Think of one tiny mistake or a little setback you had this week. Drop a comment under this video or podcast and remind yourself of one thing. This isn't permanent, and it's literally just part of the process.
You can even just type out the phrase we learned today. I can turn this around. That one little shift in mindset is exactly how you start tearing down the wall of burnout.
You have your own unique spark, and you are incredibly valuable. Don't let the shadows of the past steal the bright future you deserve. You have more than enough strength to jump right over those hurdles and keep moving forward.
Go out there and let your light shine.
We'll be back in the next episode with even more ways to help you keep your mental game strong. Until then, keep making those good choices and stay happy.
Catch you later, Sonnies.